Welcome to Reaching Minds Thoughts for Your Life's Journey. In today's episode, we're going to be exploring how to develop a mindset that empowers performance in our lives. Connected to that, we're also going to be exploring how do we bring the synergy of our heart and mind together in order to lead a more fulfilling life. Some really yummy things I think we're going to be exploring in this podcast. My guest today is Aaron Hendon. Now, Aaron is a best-selling author, mindfulness teacher, and a real estate broker, which I was really quite surprised by when I first started talking to him. I'm going to hand over to Aaron to expand a little bit about his background before we dig in a little bit around how do we develop a mindful mindset.
Mm.
Aaron.
Well, thanks, Nita. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thanks for that lovely introduction. I'm really excited to be here. Let's see, as you can tell, I'm American. I live in Seattle, Washington. I live on a small island off the coast of Seattle. Actually, if I get fancy, I tell people I live on a small island in the Pacific, which is not really true, but it's close to true. So I'll take it. It's good enough, close enough for jazz, as we say. Um, and yeah, so I've been a real estate broker for 13 years and I've done a lot of different things. I had a bakery for many years. I have an art degree. So I have a sort of I think it sounds very pretentious to call myself a Renaissance man, but I think it might fit. I do a lot of different things. Anyway, I got into mindfulness. I've been meditating on and off for about 20 years, but no, sorry, since I was 20. Oof, I'm old. That's 43 years. Um, and uh, but I was looking to train my team, my sales team, my real estate team, and I couldn't figure out what to train them in other than just dial more. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to dial more, and there were plenty of trainings that train people to dial more. I didn't need to
What's
do that.
Dalmore, Aaron? Because we don't have that as a language here.
Dial more?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. That means just make more calls.
Okay.
Hit the streets, talk to more
Okay.
people.
Right.
If anyone's listening in sales, they know that's the number one thing to do. You're not hitting your numbers good. Talk to more people. That's the thing. Dial more phones. Um, except there's a lot of, but then none of that addresses the heart of the issue for me, which is, because every coach in the world talks about how to have you need to have you need to have an empowered mindset. You need to be positive. You need to, you know, and all that strikes me as motivational or inspirational, and all that fades. You go to a motivational speaker and you feel good for what? Till you get to the car, till you're home,
Yeah.
until the first breakdown, and then you're like, what was that? How am I supposed? Because I don't have the muscle memory to access that space. I
Mm.
was in that space and now I'm not, but I didn't, it's like they gave me a fish. They didn't teach me to fish.
Right. Good
And
metaphor.
yeah, I haven't used that one in this case, but in this context, but it works because that's the key. And so I had been, was looking for something to train them in, some way to train them that would help them for that. And through my own personal experience, uh, I rekindled my interest in meditation. And uh, what happened was, I'll just do it as quickly as I can, but just the story about it is, um, I was at a retreat with my wife, who I adore. My favorite person in the planet is my wife. And we've been married 28 years. So that's all checks all the boxes. That's great. And I have two healthy kids, grown, they can take care of themselves, and they do. They speak to each other and they speak to us. So I'm like, that's check. That's a miracle. And I have a really good business. Business is very good and I'm good at it, and no complaints in that regard. check. And so I have all these things going for me, all these things that young Aaron would think, okay, well, this is a dream. But I noticed that I was really anxious, really worried, like the Jaws music in the background, like it's something's gonna terrible gonna happen. Tension in my chest. And at this retreat, I noticed how like it was a moment, it was an epiphany, a moment of satori, a moment of sudden insight, like, oh, this is my experience is really inconsistent with my circumstances. I have nothing, there's nothing in my circumstances that would trigger this kind of worry. And it occurred for me in that moment that my attention was on all the things that could go wrong.
Mm.
And I couldn't control it. It was like a feral dog. Squirrel. Every little thought that could go wrong, my mind would chase down the road. And I thought, wow, what if I could have some agency over that? Have some say about where my attention lay. And I knew because I had been meditating, I had learned how to meditate when I was 20, that meditation was that kind of training. I was already engaged in that, but I had stopped meditating. I really wasn't doing it. It's like knowing going to the gym versus going to the gym.
Mm.
And I thought, all right, well, let me get back into training. Let me get back into shape. And I started meditating and took on mindfulness meditation in a sort of serious way. And I thought, this is very cool. I started to have some say about where I put my attention on, how I felt. And I could see my results increase. And I thought, my sales. And I thought, this is good. I should train my team in this. So I went to get certified as a mindfulness teacher. And about halfway through my training, I was driving home at a stop sign. And I had this experience of like, what is this? What happened? What's going on? Because the worry was gone. Like the jackboot on my chest had disappeared. And I realized this is it. This is a methodology that I could actually train people in because I've had a commitment to contribute, for a lot of years, 40 years, just to, if I find something good, I want people to have it. I want people to share it. So I put together a training, and this is in 2023, I guess, and a 9-week training on how to live a grateful life in a fucked up world. Because
Love
things,
that.
right? Because things I've been waiting for everything to be good before I got grateful. And there is not a time coming when everything's going to be good. In fact,
Mm.
well, y'all know where I live. I live in crazy town over here in the US. It is fucked up.
Mm.
And it's getting worse. So, but if I'm going to have a grateful life, I can't do it when everything works out. I can do it now. So I put together this training and I put my sales team through it and they increased their sales by 160%.
Wow.
And they our agent retention went up 86%, referrals went up 50%, and I've put now over the last 2 years 300, 400 people through it, something like that. And those are typical results. You know how they say results not typical? Those are
Mm.
typical results. Not everybody, not, you could definitely find a way in and out of the program and not have anything happen, I suppose. But if you take it on, that's the results they get. And all I'm teaching them is how to meditate. This is nothing special. This isn't like anything I invented. Meditation's been around for 2,500 years. It's not some secret, but I have a conversation, a way of delivering it, and a package for it, a pathway that people that have tried to meditate and failed finally get it to work. People who've been interested, meditation adjacent, like, oh, that would be cool, but my mind is too busy or I don't have time. Good.
Mm.
They find a pathway and it trains the brain. And I've been fascinated by the neuroscience, but it changes the brain, physically changes the brain. The same way lifting weights changes the body, And nobody argues with me if I say, if you lift weights, you will change your body. No one's like, that's woo woo. We don't, that's not real. If you eat right and you move your body, you change the way your body looks. That's not like, it's not optional. It's not like, well, maybe that'll work. No, no, no. If you do that, that happens. And meditation is exactly like that. If you meditate 10 minutes a day, and 10 minutes, you can meditate more, but 10 minutes a day is sufficient to grow your prefrontal cortex, the neuronal activity in your front part of your brain, and thin your amygdala. Quiet down your amygdala. Quiet, so you're increasing your rational thinking and decreasing your fight, flight, or fright.
Yeah, which is where
You're
the
literally,
neuroscience comes in.
that is 100% neuroscience. That's
Yes.
validated. Harvard, MIT,
Yeah.
Oxford. We're not making this up. Again, eat right, move your body, changes your body. Sit for 10 minutes in meditation, quiet meditation, change your brain. Not exact same, not even a metaphor.
No.
It's it's exactly what happens. You're physically changing your brain. And when you change your brain, you see different things. Life seems different. And uh, those agents, those salespeople, and really, and I've had out of the 400 people, not a lot. I mean, not just salespeople. It changes the way you see things. And here's the not magic of it, slash magic of it. If the only thing that produces results is action, and no one argues about that, right? The only thing produces results, you don't meditate and gold shows up at your feet. You have to act. And if you want new results, you have to take new actions. No one's like, ah, oh, that's pretty common sense, right? New actions produce new results. Same actions produce same results. Fine. And you only act on what you see to act on. In
Yeah.
other words, if I woke up in a nightmare and I was on a tennis court and Roger Federer was on the other side and he served me a ball, what I would see is a bullet. And how I would act is I would cower in fear,
Yeah.
right? I would duck.
Yes. Mm.
But if I were Rafael Nadal and I saw that, I would think, come on, old man, I could hit that back.
Yeah.
It's the same ball, but how I see it
Yes.
changes everything. So action produces results. New results are needed for new actions. The only actions I'm going to take are on the way things look. So if I want new actions, I have to see things newly.
So to that, Aaron, I'm interested in just a little bit circling back to your own experience,
Hmm.
what you were saying earlier on about your life, being good, you have a good family
Hmm.
and so forth. Yet you
Yeah.
had this one thing that was sort of saying, you were noticing that something was going to fall apart. It's my
Yes.
word, not your word.
Yeah.
So how, and added to that, someone who's maybe listening into this saying, oh yeah, meditation is what you use the word woo-woo stuff. How
Yes.
did you get yourself shifted from looking at what can go wrong to, because we all delete and we all distort.
Yes.
Um, how did you shift yourself? And how long did it take you to
Hmm.
shift that?
Yeah, good. That's a really good question, Nita. So it was, it's hard. So I don't know that. So I can, for me, it was about the consistent anxiety, consistent worry
Yes.
disappeared in about 3 months of daily practice. Um, Most people in my programs are, after 9 weeks, they see enough of it decrease that they keep practicing. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't, this is not a quick fix. And which is why, while every coach in the world says you need a positive mindset, why they don't try to sell you one and tell you what to do, why they don't give you the recipe, is because it's slow, it's boring, and it's difficult. And if they said, "Hey, I have a slow, difficult solution to your problem," you would not click on the ad. You're not interested. I need a pill. I need instant. And this is not that,
No, no,
right? And in
I get
fact,
that.
your desire to have it be instant is the problem.
Mm,
That's the thing that we're out to disappear is your need for it to be any different. But this is now we're getting super meta and super zen. So, but when you can let go of all that and you can just find yourself grateful in the moment and nurture those moments of gratitude, they expand.
mm.
What you focus on expands. So the question was about 3 months, and then I forgot the first question. I answered the second question first. What was the first question?
I think it was, how did you actually you're answering it. So I
Okay,
think
fine. So
it's
I think
fine.
how did I get there? So
Yeah.
it's practice. And the Buddhists call it practice. Everyone who meditates calls it practice. It's practice. You do it every day, and you just you build that muscle. The same, you don't. It's not instant. It it's not even a straight line, of improvement. It's a very up and down, but you're just practicing being with life. So the pathway, the way I have it laid out for myself and the way I deliver it in the course and the book is you're developing awareness,
Yep.
allowance, acceptance, appreciation, and then an attitude of gratitude. Most inspirational gratitude things just strike me as toxic positivity, like just think positive, just make a list of things you're grateful for. I don't think that's never been sufficient for me. And I find it either not sufficient or even maybe even detrimental because you're glossing over things that, you know, pretending things are all good. People like that. How are you? Great. And they're not great.
No.
There's stuff going on in their life, but they don't have a way to hold what's not working in a way that would allow them to feel it, be with it. And this is where heart and head come together. When you allow yourself to feel what's not working, feel how it feels to have whatever it is that's not working, the fear about not closing that deal or, that fight I had with my wife or, you know, whatever is going to happen in the geopolitical climate, the constant barrage of things that are trying to get my awareness, capture my attention and have it be concerned and worried. I mean, we live in the craziest time in human history for that. Every piece of information that we possibly encounter is ramped up over the last one because it now needs to get our attention more than the last piece of bit of information got our attention. So everything is wired to grab our attention and have it be worried, have it fear sells. And there's a $1 trillion advertising industry designed to either sell you fear or an easy fix, neither of which are useful.
I like that. I mean, one of my pet hates are phrases that says "fake it until you make it." That's my
Yes.
one of my uh,
No, 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 no.
it's one of my dislikes, and
Yes.
I guess you're when you were talking about gratitude, you were, and I'd like you to expand on that a little bit
Oh my
because
gosh. I love that you said that. Yeah, keep asking the question. I can see if I can find this real quick. Go ahead.
because I think it isn't just about if I think positive, then it will happen.
No, it's
I think
not.
it's beyond that. And I love what you're saying that, when we're feeling anxiety or when we're feeling we're not good enough, at that moment, we recognize, we notice that pattern.
Hmm.
We allow it rather than run away from it. And we then think about, I guess what I would say is, what choice can I have in
Yeah.
the place I'm in currently? I can either loop back to what I'm always feeling, or I can maybe shift from it. Um, and I guess I'm not quite sure where gratitude fits in, but I'd like you to kind of expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I love that you asked. It's such a great question. So this is where, and I was looking for I'm looking for my own quote, talk about pretentious, but uh, I say it in my book is fake it till you make it works for a lot of things, works for a lot of skill-based things, right? You go fine, but it does not work for gratitude. You can't fake gratitude till you have it, which is what I really dislike about gratitude journaling is like, what am I supposed to write my dog, my car, my wife over and over and over, and then it's going to overtake me with gratitude? No, I still have. So this is the quote that sort of holds the whole concept together. And this is Francis Weller, author and psychotherapist. Francis Weller says, the work of the mature person is to carry grief in one hand and gratitude in the other, and to be stretched large by them.
Oh, I love that.
How much sorrow
Mm,
can I hold? That's how much gratitude I can give. If I carry only grief, I'll bend toward cynicism and despair. If I have only gratitude, I'll become saccharine and won't develop much compassion for other people's suffering.
mm,
Grief keeps the heart fluid and soft, which makes compassion possible. So, gratitude and grief are two ends of the same stick.
yeah.
And if you don't have a potent way to deal with the grief, the upset, the disappointment, the fucked up nature of life, if you don't have a way to hold that,
Mm.
then you are going to wind up pouring icing on dog shit, pretending it tastes like cake.
I love that. Icing
Or
and
you're just going
dog.
to be completely resigned. Either
Yeah.
way, not a grateful life. When I teach the class how to live a grateful life in a fucked up world, we don't even get to gratitude till week 7 of 9, because we're not going to get because the first so that developing a capacity to hold grief, this is the softening of the heart, this is the opening to it, this is allowing ourselves to feel. It's awareness, allowance, and acceptance, and we have mostly have a if you work those three backwards, acceptance is the most difficult of the three, and therefore we don't allow and we suppress being aware, or like the moment we become aware, drugs and drink and distraction become the scrolling. Let me just scroll, the drug of choice these days, as opposed to just sitting with, allowing ourselves to feel our own upset, feel our heart breaking over the condition of the world, feel our upset over the loss of that sale, feel the pain of whatever, not dramatize it, but allow it to be. Young said, whatever you resist persists.
Yeah.
If you resist that hurts, that's painful, well, that's you're going to get more of that. So the ultimate form of resistance is to deny, is to suppress it. Okay, so we work on awareness, and that's just breath meditation. I'm telling you, this is so basic stuff, but you
Mm.
just become aware of your breath, aware of how it feels in the body, aware of you're practicing opening your awareness, and you allow yourself to be exactly as you are. You stop fighting with reality. It shouldn't be this way. Really? Really? You're the judge? You get and even if you were the judge, it is this way.
Yeah.
It's this way. It's not that way. It's this way. And until you get it's this way, you can't do anything to have it be any other way. You have
Mm.
to get it to be exact. You have to let it be exactly the way it is. That's allowance. You stop fighting with reality. It is how it is, which is a really, unless you sit with it, it's a stupid bumper sticker because it is what it is. But if you can really get, wow, that is that way, and it's not any other way. And this is what that feels like. It feels this way in my body. I feel this in my chest. It has this shape, this color, this weight, and and I'm gonna just sit with that.
Mm.
This is an enormous leverage point in the whole practice is slowing down,
Noticing.
noticing, but noticing, but also just the whole idea of, again, back to the science of it. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winning
Mm.
psychologist who won the Nobel Prize in economics
Mm.
for inventing everything that you know to be cognitive biases today, which is a
Mm.
sort of a popular, but confirmation bias, recency
Mm.
bias,
Mm.
Dunning-Kruger effect, all of that. He won the Nobel Prize for starting those. Wrote a book, Thinking Fast and Slow.
Mm.
And he talks about how we have the brain works in two ways. System one, fast, immediate, reactive thinking. System two, slow, methodical, logical thinking. And our brains have been, through natural selection over the years, over the millennia, designed brilliantly to keep us alive. Are reactive. They are pre threat prediction machines. Left unchecked, your brain will look for threats
Yeah.
and you find what you look for, which is why I was
Or a
constantly.
pattern that you have in your head. People don't pay attention to me. So you're looking for all that evidence.
And that's a threat.
Yeah.
That's a threat to my ego. It's a threat to my identity. It's a threat to my
Mm.
well-being. The brain is designed brilliantly to have you survive. It is not designed to have you thrive. It's not going to automatically have you thrive unless you do something to get it out of the default mode network, which is the neurological term for mindlessness, just being, just hanging out without any intention. Your brain's going to be a feral dog hunting for problems. And so your life is going to be full of all these. That's what you're going to see. But you
So
can get into system two thinking by just slowing down.
So if you slow down, I understand system one and
Mhm.
system two, Aaron,
Yeah,
because I think it's a great concept of
it's a great
slowing
model.
down. So, you're talking about awareness, allowance, and acceptance. How do I then move on from that? So
Mhm.
I've got an awareness, I've got an allowance, allowed, and then
Yeah.
acceptance.
It-
What do I need to do next?
okay, good. It's so good. This is the Zen moment of the show, okay? This is the koan. If once you've accepted it, you don't move on. You have no reason to move on. You've lost the thing. You're now just there with it. You're being with it. And what naturally opens up, like if you ever held a cork underwater and you let go,
Hmm.
it pops up.
Yeah.
What naturally pops up is a space. Sometimes it's a teeny little space, but it's a space where you can then just le incline your mind is how my teacher calls it. I love this. Incline your mind. Just lean just a little in that direction towards what is there to appreciate about this moment. And you just because now that you've accepted that, you're not resisting it. There becomes nothing to change anymore. You're
Mm.
not seeing it the way you're seeing it right this minute. Like I need to change that pain. That's not accepting. That's the problem. You're not accepting it. Once you accept it, it lets go. You let it be, it lets you be. It just, oh, that's how that is. Now I can, and we're saying this super fast. And look, I mean, if there's something tragic, the death of a loved one, it could take constant attention and going back to that area for years.
Mm.
Okay. But that's how long that takes.
Mm.
But if you don't
Mm.
start, you don't ever get there, and it may come back. None of this is fixed. None of this is this is not take this pill and this will work. But in that little teeny space, that little separation, once you're in the space of acceptance, what is there to appreciate? Even if it's just, I appreciate myself for the willingness to look. The loss of a loved one. I really do deeply appreciate the time I got to spend with them. And now I'm holding both.
Mhm.
I'm not resisting the grief. I
Yeah.
have the grief and I'm in the presence of the and then appreciation. And then for me, gratitude is appreciating something as a gift. Once you get to appreciation, you can then look to see, okay, it's a grease slide to have it occur like a gift. But you can appreciate things and not have it be a gift. You can appreciate, I don't know, art, whatever, and not have it be like this is a gift to me. But the
Yes.
moment you have it be a gift to you, that's gratitude. That's what I would call gratitude.
I guess, listening to what you're saying, what this makes me think about is that when we're at the place of acceptance and be with, from seeing and
Mhm.
experiencing it, that can take us, and I'm just thinking it in this way, to a place of choice as well,
100%.
of
That's 100% where you're at.
where what I choose to notice.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Mm.
And until you get there, you're not there.
Yeah.
I mean, and you and I are talking about it and people are listening, but that's put your ass on a cushion for 10 minutes a day
Yeah.
and you will slow down the amygdala, and it just show it's just 2,500 years. This isn't like, oh, well, let's test this idea that meditation works. No, 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 no. 2,500 years. And then the last 70 years of neuroscience backs it up. Uh, there's a really fascinating book that I love just, and I especially like it because the title is so useful for these conversations, but it's called No Mind, No Problem: How Neuropsychology is Catching Up to Buddhism.
Wow. Okay.
And
I haven't heard of that one.
yeah, it's a fascinating read. It's not that long and it's a great and it really is all about the neuroscience of what the Buddhists have been saying forever. And
And
yeah, so
I think what we are also saying in terms of the message, and in a minute I'm going to ask you for some, you know, maybe tips and so
sure.
forth, is I guess there's a sense around there are no quick fix. There is a sense of we need to do a little bit of the work in order for us to be at choice. And it isn't a smooth path. There's ups and downs. If you go through a 9 week meditation program, not all of it is going to be, yeah, some of it's going to be drudge, because I know I've done it.
Yeah.
Um, and at the end of it's an opening. And something that you said, when we take new action, we produce new results. The potential is there to produce a new result. So if somebody is being, oh yeah, 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 all this meditation, Buddhism, blah, 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 what would be a few things pointers you can give them that perhaps they can start on their journey? Oh, just one other thing, as I'm sort of thinking, some people say, I can't meditate because I can't shut my mind. And I
Yeah,
often go, well, that's not the point,
that's
you
right.
know. So just to sort of coming back to what is a way we can all begin, to develop a mindful mindset to empower ourselves in our lives? What would be
Great.
your kind of two or three top tips?
Okay, so I don't particularly like tips, but
All right,
I'll give you two
pointers.
thoughts. Because look,
Thoughts.
it first, there's no end to this. This is brushing your teeth. You don't ever get to the point of brushing your teeth where you're done brushing your teeth.
Oh, I
And,
love that.
Okay, so just there is no end to it. You're not going to do this and then find that I'm done. You're never going to be done. Or you're done now and you get to live the life you're living. Either way, it's fine. I mean, you get to live life you're living every single time. So don't brush your teeth. No, fine. But to look at it like it's going to be an enclosed space is a mistake because your mind is constantly picking up
Mm.
thoughts that meditating will release. So let's just get that out there. Here's how I would look at meditation because this two things, and this is the two places that I think you could stand that would empower you, especially if you are my mind is too active or I don't have time. First of all, if you don't have time, you get to fine, don't. Buddhists say everyone should meditate for 30 minutes a day unless you don't have time. And then you should do an hour. Because you get to keep any limitation you argue for. So if you want to be someone who isn't honestly, tell the truth, isn't willing to give up scrolling their phone for 10 minutes and do this, then you get to keep that. That's fine. So the time thing doesn't really matter. It doesn't really work. But the mind wandering is an interesting thing because what people don't realize is meditation is catching the mind wandering. If the mind doesn't wander, you don't get to meditate.
Mm.
So the thing to hold in the metaphor that works for this is if you've ever trained a puppy,
Yeah.
you like puppies?
Yes. Love.
Everyone
I've
loves
got one
puppies.
here. That's a
Everyone
dog,
loves puppies. So you
actually.
put the puppy in a box, right? And the puppy's job is to get out of the box. And then you put the puppy back in the box.
Mm.
You're not mad at the puppy for getting out of the box, and you don't pretend that it's not supposed to get out of the box. In fact, if it doesn't try to get out of the box, you can't train it to stay in the box. You have to see it doing the thing you don't want it to do to train it to do the thing you do want it to do. You have to catch it doing the thing wrong before you can correct it. And then you're great with it when you correct it. And over time, the puppy will not only stay in the box, but you will get a well trained dog.
Mm.
You'll get your best friend. And I don't know anyone who thinks their brain is their best friend because they haven't trained their brain.
I've never quite thought about it in that way, but that's true.
You wake up in the morning, your brain's not like, oh, Nita, you got this. What a great day you got. Oh my God, you are perfect. Your brain does not talk to you the way your dog looks at you.
Yeah, true.
And it can, and it can, it can. You can train your brain. That's what meditation is. And so you sit and you close your eyes and you take one breath, and now you're making a list. Okay, puppy back in the box, come back to the breath. It's not a problem. You're making a list. Now you take another breath. And all of a sudden you're finishing that argument you had with that idiot on the internet 3 weeks ago. Oh, come back to the breath. Puppy back in the box. The mind wandering is not a problem. In fact, the mind wandering is how you train the mind.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Now, is it uncomfortable? Yeah, in the beginning, maybe. Sure. Okay. But you got to watch that puppy in the beginning. You got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of untrainedness to deal with. Okay, but you can, in fact, neuroplasticity is a fact. Doesn't matter how old you are, your brain is trainable.
Yeah.
100% neuroscience backed, not making this up. Everyone's brain is trainable.
Yeah. Agree
And
with
that's what
that.
you're training it for. You're training it to put your attention where you want it.
Yeah.
Agency of attention. So
Love
that's one thing.
that.
So just keep that in mind, right? That's not really a tip, but it's a way to hold it. And the second
Yeah.
thing is, and this is more in the domain of a tip, but when you learn to walk, did you ever teach a human being how to walk? No? Okay. If you teach a baby how to walk, what happens is, and when you learned how to walk, I would almost promise this is what happened. You stood up on your chubby little legs and then you fell.
Yeah.
And your
Absolutely.
mom and someone cheered.
Yeah.
They were nothing but every time you stood up and someone cheered. Someone was so happy.
Yeah.
And if you fell forward, they said you were walking. Every single attempt was met with celebration. There was no corrective action. There was no constructive criticism. There was no time limit. There was no, well, you're not getting it fast enough. There was no, Nothing but love, appreciation, cheering, joy, every attempt. I have yet to meet the adult that treats learning something new with 1/100th of that grace. And that's a mistake. Every attempt to meditate, every attempt to be present. In fact, just if I don't meditate today, but I thought about it twice, those are two mindful moments that I had today worth celebrating. Every attempt is worth celebrating. Every attempt in life is worth celebrating. You learned how to walk. There are no people who are like, well, I never learned how to walk. You don't meet people like that because every attempt is met with a celebration. And we're going, and everyone knows you're going to walk. Everyone knows it. Well, there's no difference in anything else you're out to learn. So the number one thing that you could take away is be kind to yourself.
Mm.
Be gentle with yourself. There is
Yeah.
no downside to being kind to yourself.
Yeah.
That's the, if you wanted a tip, that's the tip.
Yeah. Lovely. So finally, for me, be kind and gentle to yourself. So one of the things I like to ask my guest is, what's the motto do you live by in your life?
Yeah. Um, it's good. Uh, I'm going to land with, there's no downside to being kind to yourself. I'm just, if I had to pick something, that is, and it's changed over the years, but that's the place that I found the most, I'm finding the most power for myself. There's just no downside to being good to myself, to being kind to myself.
Lovely. I like that. There's no downsides to being kind to myself.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah. Nothing
Aaron,
bad ever happens
no, no, I don't
when
think
I'm kind to
so.
myself. Never like,
There
oh,
isn't
wow,
any room for
I
anything
wish I was a
else.
bigger dick with myself. That's never happened.
No. Aaron, I really valued our conversation. I found it very illuminating, expansive, and it's certainly given me food for thought because and it's actually made me think about get back on the wagon, as they say, of
On the cushion, back on the cushion.
on the cushion. Yes, on the cushion,
Yes.
and do or the chair or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Um, and begin with 10 minutes as a
Yeah.
way of experiencing yourself from maybe
Begin
a
with
different.
one breath. Begin
Yeah.
with one breath. Don't even begin with 10 minutes. Begin with
No.
one breath. Just take, every time my text messages ring, I use that as a meditation bell. If I get a text message, before I do anything else, I just take one mindful breath. Just feel my
Yeah.
feet on the ground and breathe. It's not duration, it's reps. The
Yes.
number, just that's all. So yeah, great, 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 great. Oh, I love it.
Fantastic. Thank you.